Wow, welcome everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the 2022 Lavender graduation, the Lavender Celebration. I'm Liz Canfield. Oh, I am not Liz Canfield. Liz could not be here tonight, so I am Erin White. I'm the head of digital engagement at VCU Libraries and your humble second string MC for the evening. Excited to be here, happy to be here. Thank you, thank you. So we're here to celebrate and recognize all of our great queer graduates. When I was in undergrad and grad school, I had Lavender graduation. And to me, those are the ceremonies that I remember because those are the times when I felt most held and most seen by my community. So my hope tonight is that that is how you feel and that you're able to take a breath. Let's go ahead and take a breath. To recognize your amazing accomplishments, sit back and enjoy. Thank you for being here. Before we begin, I would like to ask that all electronic devices and cell phones be silenced at this time. And it is now my honor to introduce Dr. Miriam Kadeba, the Director of the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs, who will bring a greeting on behalf of the office, and Dr. Fotis Soteropoulos, Provost and Senior Vice President for Academic Affairs, who will bring you a warm VCU welcome.
Thank you, Erin. Good afternoon, everyone. I have been in my feelings all afternoon. I've been tearful. And initially I was like, oh, you know, these allergies, right? But these are not allergies. Those are tears of joy. I'm just excited to see everyone here. I want to start by saying greetings, truly greetings thank you for being here. As Erin mentioned, I am the Director of the Office of Multicultural Student Affairs, and I have just a few words to share to welcome you. It is truly my honor to welcome you to this space, to welcome you to the Spring 2022 Lavender Celebration at Virginia Commonwealth University. Come on, y'all. That's right, that's right. Yes. In my country of origin, in Côte d'Ivoire, I am from Côte d'Ivoire in West Africa, we extend greetings by saying Akwaba. And I want to be mindful, and so please go along with me. I want to say Akwaba, as I want to welcome each and every one of you individually, as well as welcome our collective in this space. So Akwaba to VCU Upper Administration for being here. Thank you for your presence and for your visibility. Akwaba to my hashtag friends of OMSA. Those are all our campus partners, our faculty, our staff that have been here, and all the amazing volunteers that have supported us to make this ceremony happen. I want to say Akwaba to the OMSA team because we would not be here without your work. So thank you for being here. Akwaba, hold on, let me take a moment. Akwaba to family, friends, and loved ones. Let me take a moment. Shout out to the family, friends, and loved ones. Yes. Our graduates are here because of you, Akwaba, and thank you for being here. Lastly, but certainly not least, Akwaba to our Spring 2022 VCU graduates. Come on, make some noise, y'all. We're here. Akwaba, thank you for being here. Tonight is special because we gather to celebrate your accomplishments. Lavender Graduation is an annual ceremony conducted on numerous campuses to honor LGBTQIA students and acknowledge your achievements and contributions to VCU. It remains important to name explicitly why we're gathered here and to bring our queer elders and ancestors into the space, for we are here because of them. The Lavender Graduation Ceremony was created at the University of Michigan in 1995 and started with 3 students. Now, please take a moment to look around you and take in this moment. The community that showed up for you today. I hope this moment fills you with gratitude and joy as you take in how proud we all are of you. Enjoy the rest of the ceremony and congratulations again. Dr. Fotis, you're next.
Thank you so much. And what a great pleasure to be here with all of you today. I have to say, this has been one of the amazing days, of the many amazing days that I've here at VCU. I got started at the Shift Retail Lab of the Da Vinci Center, seeing students presenting during demo day, great ideas for companies and startups they have created. And what a better way to close my day being here with you today. I've been the provost of this amazing institution since last August, and there is nothing that I have enjoyed most than having every opportunity I have to interact with all of you, are amazing students. So I'm really proud to welcome each of you to this celebration. And as we affirm and congratulate this amazing class of 2022 for their academic and personal achievements. So you have done it. You have done it under extraordinary difficult circumstances. There was a pandemic that you all had to go through, that we all had to go through, and you persevered and you did it. You did it during very uncertain times of social unrest and cultural change, and often really without the benefit of the most basic human need, in-person interactions, right? In person with all of you, with your loved ones, your families. I mean, let's forget the past. Let's look into the future. And I think one important thing to remember is if you were able to accomplish so much under so many such challenging circumstances, what is the limit of what you can accomplish moving into the future? Right? Just remember that, right, as you graduate today. So as you graduate, I'm celebrating the end of my semester at VCU, as I said. I arrived in August and was immediately struck by the palpable energy, the passion and infection enthusiasm at VCU. What I personally have come to refer as VCU magic. Our faculty, staff, students feel this magic, and our community feels it also. And the reason is simple. At VCU, every member of our community embraces and is driven by the core pillars of our academic mission: access and student success, inclusive excellence, community engagement, and societal impact. Another part of VCU's magic is our inherent diversity and our affirmation that diversity drives excellence. In fact, this phrase that we use as one of the core pillars of VCU, diversity driving excellence, often reminds me of a quote by famed biographer Walter Isaacson. That's a book I read a few years ago, and I was quite impressed by it. So in his astounding biography of Leonardo da Vinci, I highly recommend that you read this book, actually. Isaacson writes, referring to Leonardo, and that's a direct quote, his ability to combine art, science, technology, the humanities, and imagination remains an enduring recipe for creativity. So too was his ease at being a bit of a misfit, illegitimate, gay, vegetarian, left-handed, easily distracted, and at times heretical. Florence flourished in the 15th century because it was comfortable with such people. And I find it, end quote here, I find it most intriguing that a quote about the 15th century Florence exemplifies and frames so succinctly the challenges facing academic institutions in the 21st century. Advancing educational paradigms that break disciplinary silos and build networks of knowledge, educating creative problem solvers, and provide an inclusive and welcoming environment where every person can thrive. In other words, that's what we mean here at VCU by diversity driving excellence. And at VCU, we embrace those challenges as our strengths. Our educational enterprise focuses on access and student success. Our passion is educating informed and compassionate citizens, critical thinkers, creative problem solvers, and entrepreneurs to equip our students with the lifelong learning skills they will need to succeed in a rapidly changing world. Our research cuts across disciplines. We focus on grand societal problems that improve lives and help lift all human beings up. Our community is engaged, ensuring economic development and prosperity for all. And our culture is one of inclusiveness and caring. So allow me to conclude my remarks here today by focusing on this last statement, this culture of inclusiveness and caring and what it really means. A culture of inclusiveness and caring is one where differences are appreciated and celebrated. It's about building community and relationship. It's about feeling connected and valued and that you belong. It creates an environment, it's about creating an environment where all can succeed in learning, working, discovering, and healing. To be clear, that culture exists here at VCU, and this Lavender graduation is a fantastic example of this, but there's so much more we need to do. However, weaving, as I often say, weaving a culture of care, a culture of belonging and feeling included into the fabric of VCU isn't something that I or our president, Mike Rao, or any administrator alone can do, right? It has to be intrinsic to each of us. It has to be part of who we are, and we have to express this at everything we do, at every level we do. So as you move on to the next phase of your life, to the many successes that lie ahead for each one of you, I hope that you will be our ambassador of a culture of care, instilling a culture of care wherever your life journey takes you. And join us as an alum in galvanizing a culture of care so that every VCU student has the resources and supportive relationships that foster learning, development, belonging, and connectedness. I look forward to seeing the differences that each of you will make in the world. Congratulations to you, your loved ones, your families, everyone who supported you in this incredible journey, and congratulations on your graduation. I'm immensely proud of all of you.
If I can get rid of this.
IT team activate. Great. I was like, maybe I can take care of that. Thank you, Dr. Fotis-Soteropoulos, for that special welcome. It takes many people to educate. Among these are your faculty and staff. Time and time again, I hear students tell me about how important our faculty and staff have been in their lives. Time and time again, I hear faculty and staff tell me how they're engaging with students and learning from students as well. And I also meet with alumni who want to know about a faculty or staff member who had a deep impact on their lives. So we're lucky to have great folks at VCU who put students first. It's what they enjoy about academic life. They've been your guides, your mentors, sometimes your tormentors, but they've also tried to do what's best for your education. Faculty and staff in the room, can you stand up, please? And let's give you some applause. Faculty and staff, please. Day, I see you. Thank y'all. I've loved working with y'all. So these folks' responsibility has been to make sure that you are well prepared and up to the challenge of representing VCU. And 3 professors have joined us today to impart some words to you. First, we'll have Dr. Julian Kavan Glover, Assistant Professor in Gender, Sexuality, and Women's Studies and Dance and Choreography, followed by a poem of encouragement read by Mrs. Brandy Daniels, Grad Assistant for Diversity, Inclusion, Education Advocate, and then Dr. Courtney Wolfgang, Associate Professor in VCU Arts. So Julian, take it away.
Hello, so glad to be here, everybody. Congratulations, graduates. So glad to chat with you all for just a few minutes. It won't be before you too long. I grew up in the church, and that's what the preacher always says before they get up and take 2 hours. But that will not be me, I promise. When thinking about this year's theme, it is Sparkle, Shine, Succeed. I thought about many ways that I might say something that would be meaningful or engaging, and I ended up going with what I knew. So I've come today to give you just a few little nuggets that have helped me on my way. My journey has certainly not been an easy one, certainly been challenging for a young Black, queer, trans person who grew up in a Pentecostal household in the Midwest, okay? It was not easy, but still I'm here. So I think I have a few things that maybe y'all could learn, That's what this professor thing is about, So I think the first thing I wanted to say is something that it took me getting to a very deep and dark place where I really wasn't all that interested in much. Even the things that brought me joy stopped bringing me joy. And one of the kinds of things that really got to me were all the voices of the people in my head telling me who to be, how to be, what to be, and when. And it all got to be so much to the point where I really did not know what to do. And I was in one of the darkest places of my life, and a still voice came to me and said, Julian, you are listening to all these people, voices, telling you who to be and what to be. But sometimes the only voice that matters is your own. That's one of the things that I learned. Now, of course, this is easy to say, hard to do. We live in a social world where every day we're challenged. The way that we think about ourselves is challenged by the people that we meet. So how do we maintain any sense of ourselves? Well, my dear friend and collaborator in spirit, Moses Sumney, in a 2020 album called Gray, a song called Bystanders, he says this: And this is the chorus. He says, don't waste your candor on bystanders. They'll watch you waste away, waste away, waste away. What's the use of confessing the truth to an executioner in the booth about the dueling forces in you? Now you barely remember your youth. You used to embrace the eerie and helm, visitation from spirit realms, gifted to see between astral planes. Now you plead to be plain, a bystander. Something I think very interesting for us to really consider is you have to learn through life who your people are, and many will be bystanders. So use all of the skills that you've learned at VCU to be able to separate the tare from the wheat, as they would say. Know your bystanders from your people, and you'll do well. The other thing I want to say is, and I'm going to say this a couple of times, do not let other people's problem do not let other people make problems that you perceive a problem of your perception. Let me say this again. Do not let people make problems that you perceive a problem of your perception. We know many times as queer people, we walk into a room and as W.E.B. Du Bois might say, well, how does it feel to be a problem? That's the way society often makes us. But I'm saying often what's the case for us is that when we perceive a problem, our perception becomes the problem. And so I'm saying to succeed, to shine, to sparkle, you want to, again, remember those bystanders when you're dealing with that. And the last thing I'll leave you with, one of the best ways I think anybody can shine, truly, is by leading with erotic power. Now, we've heard about erotic power, and I'm thinking specifically about Audre Lorde, the uses of the erotic is power, where she theorizes the erotic as the realm where we blend sensation with feeling. In a world that teaches us that it is okay to have sensations while deluding us into believing that we don't feel. It's a challenge to feel in this world and to choose to do so. And I'm a living witness to say that if you choose to live with erotic power, that is blending and tethering sensation with feeling, what comes of it is deep joy. Joy that passes all understandings, joy that is able to get you up in the morning and lay you down at night. So it's something I think we should really, really think about as we are, I should say we, I've already graduated. As you all are graduating and moving forth in your professional, personal, and intimate lives, you can seek joy through your erotic power. You can remember that there is nothing wrong with your perception, and also that the only voice that matters is your own. If you do all these things, not only will you sparkle, shine, and succeed, but you'll do so while being bold, being brilliant, and being boundless. Thank you all.
Thank goodness I picked up the right mic. Good evening, everyone, and congratulations not only to the graduates, but the family, the donors, the supporters, the faculty, the staff, et cetera, Please enjoy this moment. And of course, enjoy the milestone that you have achieved. I am reciting a litany for survival by Audre Lorde, one of my favorite poets. For those of us who live at the shoreline, standing upon the constant edges of decision, crucial and alone. For those of us who cannot indulge the passing dreams of choice, who love in doorways coming and going, in the hours between the dawns, looking inward and outward at once, before and after, seeking a now that can breed futures, like bread in our children's mouths, so their dreams will not reflect the death of ours. For those of us who were imprinted with fear, like a faint line in the center of our foreheads, learning to be afraid with our mother's milk. For by this weapon, this illusion of some safety to be found, the heavy-footed hope to silence us, for all of us, this instant and this triumph, we were never meant to survive. And when the sun rises, we are afraid. It might not remain. When the sun sets, we are afraid. It might not rise in the morning. When our stomachs are full, we are afraid of indigestion. When our stomachs are empty, we are afraid. We may never eat again. When we are loved, we are afraid. Love will vanish. When we are alone, we are afraid. Love will never return. And when we speak, we are afraid. Our words will not be heard, not welcomed, but when we are silent, we are still afraid. So it's better to speak, remembering we were never meant to survive. Thank you and congratulations again.
Hello, I did it. Hi there. Thank you so much for welcoming me today, and I'm really honored and excited to be here. My name is Courtney Wolfgang. I'm a faculty member in the Department of Art Education in the School of the Arts here, and a very proud gay. I've never given a graduation remark before, so I feel a little bit out of my element. I honestly don't know how sage my advice is, and I don't want to pretend to know what lies beyond the horizon of VCU for all of you. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how weird and connected and beautiful it might be by sharing some of my own story. I've been an educator for 20 years. I wish I could report that I'm the product of union-supporting, radicalized, feminist, anti-racist, activist, anarchist, bio-queer moms or dads. As an easier explanation for how I got to be how I am, but the fact is that there are no other teachers or any of those other things in my family. I grew up in a family of business folks and fiscal conservatives. I begrudgingly took cotillion. I was routinely instructed to clean my room and, quote, make it look like better homes and gardens, end quote. When people ask, how did you know you wanted to be a teacher? I reply, I didn't. I wanted to be a mermaid or maybe a tennis pro. My friend Matt Blanks once told me that every picture he'd ever seen of me as a child, I was, quote, dressed like a cupcake. I slept many nights on foam peak rollers my mom would shellac with hairspray in the hopes that my scraggly baby fine hair would hold something resembling a hairdo long enough for a school picture day to memorialize it. I was born in the bicentennial year. My childhood wasn't captured daily and unceremoniously like some are now. The cameras only came out on special occasions, so my recorded history seldom resembles my brain-held memories. My baby book cites my childhood nickname as simply the Tornado. My dad's siblings still refer to me as Frank's wild child. One Christmas, my older brother and mom got matching pairs of sneaker skates. I got a pink doll carriage, and in spite of not asking for it nor wanting one. There was a family famous video of my mom and my brother clumsily working their way down the driveway on those skates, and then a flash of blonde lightning and pink plastic running at full speed to mow them down where they stood, and then running back into the garage. I never saw myself as wild or as radical or as a twisting force of wind and debris. It was also Southeast Alabama in the early 80s, and I'm fairly certain it didn't take much to stand out. My childhood friend, Bay Chapman, had enviable hair bows, or rather an enviable knack for staying intact during the school day, which I did not have. Lord, my mama tried. She'd put those bows in my hair, and somewhere between the front door of our house and the front door of the school, an incident would occur that would situate that bow somewhere other than where it was supposed to be, resulting in that move, and some of you might know this, where they would grab two sides of your hair and just yank so it scooched back up on your head where it was supposed to be. And it always ended up really lumpy. So one especially famous school picture features my cattywampus bow and a wool turtleneck that I had soaked with my own saliva, sucking on the neckline while I was waiting in line to have my picture taken. It was never very pretty. So I spent much of my childhood and adolescence failing at assimilation. I wasn't Bay Chapman. I wasn't even Mark or Dan Winkler, the twins who lived around the corner who had impressively curated vocabularies of cuss words that they taught them all to me. I still use them prolifically, not in the speech though. I wasn't my parents, nor was I my brother. I was just trying to figure it out because it turns out I was a very queer kid in the Deep South and there wasn't a script for it. My kindergarten teacher, Miss Kirkland, grew African violets, and they were all over our classroom at Hurd Elementary in Dothan, Alabama. That fall that I was in kindergarten, she was featured in our local paper, having won an award at the state fair for her spectacular violets. I thought she was magic. I thought that there must be something magical about school to have such a magical person working there, and therefore school was also magic. In the first grade, I met Martha Blackmar. She was my teacher. She taught me the word meander. We watched a full solar eclipse together as a class. It was the first time I can recall somebody telling me that I was good, and she used those exact words. Courtney, you are good. At the end of the school year, my mom, Merle, told me I could invite anyone I wanted to come over for dinner, and I said, Miss Blackmar. And she said, are you sure you don't want to invite a friend your own age? And I said, no, I was impressively stubborn, even as a young child. I said, I want to invite Miss Blackmar. So my first grade teacher, Martha Blackmar, came over for dinner. My mom made spaghetti. I showed Miss Blackmar our backyard, my swing set. I introduced her to our dog, Rascal. I had never felt so important that this absolutely magical person had come to my house. Miss Blackmar had short silver hair, and unlike most of the other adult women I knew, didn't wear a lick of makeup. She always wore pants. She loved words and school, and she believed in her students, and she told us that all the time. And to me, she was magical. It was 1984. I wish I could say that my trajectory to a career in teaching was a smooth, direct path, because you're all graduating, and I can't tell you that. This thorny, messy trail is littered with well-intentioned acts with unanticipated impacts, and not all of them positive. I think back to the first year that I was a high school teacher in Loganville, Georgia, actually learning lessons about how jack little I knew about teaching. No discredit to the thoughtful and smart people who helped to prepare me at the university. I was just really green, because the dissatisfying truth about learning is that it's never enough. College doesn't really teach you that, at least not transparently. You finish one grade and then you go on to the next. You graduate with a bachelor's, maybe you move on to a master's or beyond. You get a degree. You learned. You are the holder of that knowledge and responsible for communicating it to others. And I was so afraid of being wrong or being found out as a fraud. In 2011, I started teaching at the University of South Carolina. Go Cox. I was so green. Again, a faculty member there, Lynn Weber, shared her guidelines for classroom discussion. And if you are a colleague of mine or a student, you're probably familiar with these because I've used them in every class I've taught since I was given my first copy. In it is a reminder that everyone is doing the best they can with the tools they have available to them in that moment. I think about that a lot. I think about how, as a teacher, as a partner to my very good colleague, Erin White over there, my wife, and as an active and often too outspoken member of my community, I rely on this phrase to remind me about the importance of meeting people where they're at. What this also means, and what I'm learning more and more, is that sometimes I am the person who is doing the best I can with my tools, and that people, in particular young people, are meeting me where I'm at, and that I need to remain open to critique, to learning new things, that learning isn't about a top-down model of expertise or application, and to claim that one's authority is being challenged is to assume that you have any authority. I'm just not interested in doing that. And that means undoing a lot of cultural language and taught lessons about adulthood, the academy, success, jobs, etc. Schools weren't made for most of us. Sitting here today is more than a testimony of academic achievement. It's a testimony to your willingness to put someone else's misconceptions of your humanness to the side while you did what you deserve to do, thrive. Students, beautiful students. I'm sorry, I can't promise you that it won't be thorny. I can't promise you that things will be easy, and I'm really sorry in advance. You'll get out there in the world and you'll likely hear some things that really undo you. You'll often be asked to represent everyone like you and teach people about otherness. So say yes when it matters, and also learn to say no when you need to, and refer them to the fact that the internet exists. I just ask you to hold tight. The future you deserves to see you there and to hear your voice. They deserve to see themselves as leaders, as innovators, as scholars, as artists, because you are standing in front of them saying, I did it, and so can you. If you don't have a Miss Blackmar in your life, you can share her with me. I'll share my Miss Blackmar in the hopes that someday you become someone else's Miss Blackmar. She thought that we were really important, even at 7 years old, and that the things that we loved, that we created, that we feared, it was all important. So save that in your heart space somewhere and visit it when you need to, because sometimes it's harder than it should be. So I guess really I want to sum it all up by saying you should believe in these magics: the magic of possibility, of failure, of trying again, of holding each other, of making space for serious things and also for not serious things, of meandering and falling in love with learning and also letting some of your learning go. I don't have a tidy story of success. I am not famous, nor am I a millionaire. And frankly, it took me a little bit longer to get where I'm at than it does a lot of people, but I sure have survived. And I found a rhythm in this world that feels really right for me. And that is something to be glad for. So my wish for all of you is that may you find your rhythm with love and gratitude. Huge congratulations, and thank you again for having me.
Whew. Can we get another round of applause for our speakers, please? So I'm really excited to announce our keynote. Rhonda Williams is a writer, blogger, engineer, entrepreneur, software author, and escape artist. Okay, I have to hear more about that. She was born and raised in a small country town in Southern Virginia. Wanting to experience the world and live life as her true self, escaping became an early goal. Fascinated by computers even before she knew exactly their purpose, she studied engineering at RPI and graduated the year RPI became VCU. In 1983, she founded a software company that brought to market the first PC-based personnel system and the first consumer tax preparation software package. This product evolved into H&R Block tax software with over 60 million people utilizing it last year. Today, she spends much of her time consulting with nonprofits, speaking on gender issues relating to transgender acceptance. She writes a blog that is approaching 4.5 million total views with daily posts. The blog encourages others to escape and live a full life. Its name, rondasescape.com. Rhonda, on the subject of escaping gender norms and being transgender, quote, I have learned that a full understanding of being transgender can be both deceptively simple and extraordinarily complicated at the same time. Popeye said it best, I am what I am.
Such a pleasure to be here this evening. I really appreciate the invitation, and I'm incredibly honored to be here myself. Congratulations. Your generation is part of the most successful non-commercial social media project. It was a global movement. Not Facebook, not Twitter, not Instagram. The It Gets Better project. In 2010, LGBT people and their allies all over the world uttered the words, "It gets better." More than 70,000 people all over the globe recorded a message to you, to all LGBTQ people around the world. That message was, it gets better. Let me read you just one of the stories, one of the 70,000, and people are still recording on to It Gets Better. This is Janet Mock, a transgender woman who is a model, actress, writer, producer, director, and activist. This is what she said. I promise it gets better. I know, because I am one of you. I've loved you, and I can't wait to see you on the other side. You are part of that generation that has experienced it gets better. First, I want to thank Arjuna for inviting me here this evening to speak to you all. Especially, I want to thank my friend Jocelyn Mahone, who has been a supporter in me being involved with VCU. It's been quite a while for me. My history goes back to 1968, as we spoke. I was part of the last graduating class of RPI, a word, letters you probably have never heard, but there is a plaque on Schaefer Court that talks about RPI. The year that I graduated, 1968, RPI became VCU. And I think Richmond thanks you for being here, being that, and reinvigorating a city that needed to be reinvigorated. I'll save you doing the math also. I am 74 years old. So I am maybe speaking from wisdom. I don't know. I've had a lot of experience. So I do want to share a few things with you this evening as we go along. I've done some pretty cool things, some amazing experiences. And I want to carry on doing things as long as I possibly can, being an advocate in our community, doing things, speaking things, and being visible. I wish you the same fun, amazing, special, challenging, and ordinary life that I have enjoyed. If you can have any piece of that, you will be happy and will end up happy like I have. Next, congratulations goes to all of you for your academic achievements. You have earned the seat that you have this evening in being here. It didn't come to you as a gift. You earned it. You worked hard for it, and you deserve all the adulation that you'll be getting over the next few weeks for the effort that you've put into being who you are and being the brave person that you are. Again, being here tonight was bravery on your part. A lot braver than I was at your age, that's for sure. For a country gal that grew up on a farm, when I got to Richmond, I was light years away from my grandfather's general store. I was so encouraged at that time to be part of a diverse culture, something I had never experienced in my little hometown. And Richmond and RPI, as it was then, and VCU as it is now, was a true life-changing experience for me. It was an awakening that I really and truly enjoyed. I can see every time I'm on campus still, there is a DNA that's part of this campus that is enlightening, encouraging, accepting, that is still here. Absolutely. And I know will always be here. And you all certainly represent yourselves too very, very well in that community that has grown up here. Let's get back to my theme. It gets better. Let me assume that in your case, it's gotten better. Many of you were confused in elementary school. You didn't know what was going on. You didn't know what you were. Many of you too, as you got into high school, were bullied and harassed. You didn't know that it was going to get better at that point. But at that point, you may have thought it's awful. I don't know what I'm going to do. Many in our community do not get past that point. Again, congratulations to you for being here and being who you are. I buried very, very deep the fact that I was transgender to blend in. I did it well. Denial ran very deep in my life at that time. Your it gets better experience began likely on your first day here at VCU. You saw a community that you could work with, could be with, you can enjoy your life with, and could go out and do things and be accepted and thrive. A place to make friends, a place where it had already gotten better for you on the day that you arrived. But we need to consider something now that is very serious. Nationwide, Republican lawmakers have filed 250 state bills in the year 2022 that seek to erode protections for transgender gay youth. They have moved beyond the bathroom bill. Be forewarned. Today, at least 166 measures to restrict our rights are still pending in state legislatures all over this country. Nearly quadruple the number of similar bills that were introduced 3 years ago. So they're not letting up. These seek to erode the freedoms that we enjoy today, the things that my generation has worked for your generation. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis last week, 2 weeks ago, signed into law a measure that prohibits the discussion of gay gender subjects during school through first grade. It don't say gay bill, and I'm sure you've all heard of that. But if you read that bill and start to study that bill, there is a lot more in it. I've had companies already coming to me as far as diversity training that says, we're not going to do it. We are afraid of corporate our corporate responsibility and what will happen if we just teach diversity. Here's a good example. Look what happened to Disney for standing up to a bully. And this happened just last week. And at first, Disney was going to say nothing. The corporate executives within Disney were going to say nothing of what had taken place as far as that bill was concerned. Then finally, because of pressure from the employees, from the LGBT community within Disney, the CEO spoke up and retribution has come their way. Again, it's going to take bravery on all of our parts to make sure that we go forward. Part of that bill, you think about it, children's books are being banned. These are books that would help children to understand who and what they are. They're being banned. Teachers don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. It's a situation that is not a good situation at all for us. Another good example is Iowa. Iowa just put into a law a discrimination bill that prevents any youth from participating in sports. This goes back to kids playing intramural sports in high school, elementary school, or kids just playing soccer. Transgender students are not being allowed to participate in their chosen gender. This becomes even more awful to think about when you realize in the entire state of Iowa, there were only 3 transgender youth that wanted to play sports. So they went to all of that effort just to punish or to bully 3 transgender students. There's hope. Let me give you a brief history of what our hope rests upon. December the 1st, 1955, Rosa Parks, a seamstress, became an advocate. She is called the mother of the civil rights movement simply because she would not give up her seat on the bus after she had worked all day long to a white man. She was arrested, certainly, and her lonely act of defiance became a movement. One person's action became a movement that ended legal separation legal segregation in the United States. Blacks rallied around strong leaders and became advocates. Martin Luther King wrote, "Injustice everywhere, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." Think about that. Injustice. We need to make sure that we fight for justice. Dixiecrats, now Republicans, lost the fight to keep Blacks at the back of the bus. Rosa Parks started a movement she became an advocate. Gays became advocates in 1970. Anita Bryant was the face of a Save the Children movement. Sound familiar? They're kind of using that same terminology now. That campaign was to repeal a law that Dade County, Florida had passed to reduce or to eliminate discrimination in housing in that particular county. She rallied many, many people, especially the religious right, to fight against that and made quite a statement for that. It was ultimately defeated. The Republicans lost the fight to send gays back to the closet, simply because the gay people at that time became visible. People realized they were their hairdresser, for a stereotype. They were their florist. They were their dentist. Gay people were their doctor. Gay people were their accountants. They realized that they knew someone that was gay. They knew someone because they were visible, and they stood up to the bully. They worked hard. Give you one more. Drag queens became advocates. They staged a 6-day riot and protest against police harassment. Stonewall, we've all heard that terminology. The date, June 28th, when this started, is now celebrated as Pride Day. The Stonewall riots, also called the Stonewall Uprising, began in New York when the New York City police raided the Stonewall Inn, a gay club located in Greenwich Village. 50 years later, the police commissioner, James O'Neill, admitted the police department enforced discriminatory laws and apologized to gay people for doing what they did at that time. Again, drag queens became advocates. They stood up defiantly to injustice. Do we see a pattern here? Let's remember that the purple part of the gay flag, of the lavender stripe and the rainbow flag symbolizes the spirit of the LGBT community. That spirit is here tonight in the lavender graduation for you all. Okay, here's where you have to take notes. No, just kidding. You've done enough of that already. We don't have to take any notes. Here's things though that we need to do as a community. Number one, it means empowering and funding local LGBT groups. We need to be active, and we need to let those groups know that we can support them. Volunteer, help, become an employee. Fund them, give them money, give them help, let them know that they have your support. Talk to faith-based leaders, because in your church, help them to know, help them to be visible so that other people can see who you are, what you are. Let them understand that visibility, you understand that visibility is your power. Pursue legal changes to the court system. If any of you are graduating, going on to law school or in that realm, understand that you can play an important role in the legal community in helping people to undo these unjust laws. Be an advocate. Encourage a more positive representation of gays, lesbian, and transgender people in the media. Do not let them get away with undermining or making fun of us. We are real. Remind companies of their responsibility as LGBT employees. The Disney employees changed the CEO's mind, and he stood up to a bully in Florida. That happened last week. We don't know how that's going to play out yet, but the employees of Disney precipitated that change and that change in attitude. Carry out public campaigns to challenge stereotypes. Don't let them get away with that. They cannot do that. They cannot make us a stereotype. They cannot make us a joke. We're not. We are humans and we are proud of who we are. We need to build coalitions with other LGBT groups. Let's face it, our group as an alphabet, LGBTQIA is diverse. We have diverse goals. We have diverse purposes. Work together as a group. Do not undermine any one of the letters within our alphabet soup. We need to work together. We need to be strong, and we need to be together in our battles that's coming forward. Most important of all, vote. Encourage others to vote. I'm not talking about the presidential election, and I'm not talking about the election for senators. These bills are coming out of state legislators. These are elected at a local level. Mayors, state representatives, state senators. We need to interview them. We need to make sure that they support our causes, and we need to hold their feet to the fire when they do not support us. They need to be called out for what they're doing and doing to us. So we need to be very careful in what we do. We need to be an activist. Why? Because for you, it has gotten better. But I challenge you now, we want to keep it getting better. And if we don't act, it's not going to get better. I don't want to go in the opposite direction where we have to come back 10 years from now and say, it didn't get better, it got worse. We want to keep this movement of it getting better. We want to keep it going. And that's your responsibility. My generation leaves it to your generation to keep it going. Thank you. Let me say one more thing before I leave. Just one quick thing here. I want to read to you a poem. And this poem was written by Martin Niemöller in 1952. He spent 7 years in prison in a concentration camp, the last 7 years of Nazi rule. And it'd be very easy to paint him as being, oh, he must have been Jewish. No, he was not Jewish. Neither was he homosexual. He was not a labor organizer. He was not a person with a disability. He was not Polish. He was not Russian, and he was not Black. Think about it. These were all people that Hitler wanted to eradicate. Well, what was Niemöller? Why did he end up in a concentration camp with all of the people that Hitler wanted to eradicate? He was a Lutheran pastor who dared to speak up. He penned this poem as a reminder to all of us of our social responsibility. This poem is on the wall of the National Holocaust Museum. I'll read it to you. It's very brief. First, they came for the communist, and I did not speak up because I was not communist. Then they came for the socialist, and I did not speak up because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionist. I was not in a trade union, so I did not speak up. Then they came for the Jews. I wasn't Jewish. I did not speak up because I was not Jewish. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak up. Thank you. I'm done, promise.
Can we get another round of applause for Dr. Williams? Thank you so much. So now we move to the more dynamic, exciting, movement-filled part of the ceremony where we honor our graduates. So we honor our graduates who have completed degree programs at Virginia Commonwealth University. At this time, I will invite Christina Davis and Christina Spohn to the auditorium to read off some names. So excited. Like, just keep it together. Just keep it together.
Yes. Hello. Excellent. Okay. Graduates in the first row, please rise and pass your green cards to the left. And then come forward as your names are called.
We're gonna get it together, y'all.
We're gonna make
got
it. Yes,
Thank you.
amazing.
That's right.
Beautiful. Yes. I think we're ready.
All right. Leah Alcantara.
M. Bickford.
Salma Bravo. Salma Bravo.
Tiff Camp.
Ricardo Clouden Cross.
Steph Cull.
Norrin Gilbert Haymeyer.
Leela Gamechu.
Zar Gentius Harris.
Dominique Ginyard.
Spence Graves.
Janice Guzman.
Georgia Henderson.
Great. Cards. Super, thank you. Okay, okay. Okay. Eric Lainez Villanueva.
Katie Ladder.
Katrin Morgan.
Errol Nelson. Jay Newman.
Kelly Organ.
Michelle Pham.
Jessica Ree.
Caroline Richards.
Daquan Saunders McNear.
Haley Suarez Rivas.
Kayla Trainum.
Fred Tugas.
Sydney Palmer Washington.
Chandler Wilson.
Idri Yang.
Alice Eh.
Danny Zapata.
Congratulations. Isaac Newton once said, "If I have seen further than others, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants." This evening is a shining example of the students who are the giants. Thank you for allowing us to stand proudly in front of you this evening. Now I would like to welcome back to the podium, Erin White.
So I have a few remarks that were prepared by Dr. Archana Pathak, who couldn't be here tonight. She first of all conveys her huge thanks and congratulations to the speakers. So another round of applause for our speakers, please. Thank you. So imagine that I am Archana. To the amazing graduates, on behalf of the Office of Institutional Equity, Effectiveness and Success and Q Collective, congratulations. We are so sorry that we cannot be with you in person today, but health and safety for everyone is our priority. So we are sending you our best wishes. VCU is known for its diversity, but diversity is not where we start or stop. VCU must be a place where its community members are able to be their most authentic selves, empowered to speak their truth, and where everybody can become, grow, learn, and work as their best selves. We're so grateful for all of you who have been integral to this university, who've held this university accountable and created and sustained the conversations that make all of us better. We know you will continue to bring this incredible shining light to all that you are and all that you do and across all of your journeys. Congratulations to the class of 2022. And I'll invite Mr. Joshua Lockhart for final remarks. Come here. He's also done so much to coordinate this entire event. So just like another round of applause for Joshua.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So I just want to go ahead and just say a few words. All of you assembled tonight had a vital role in continuing to build the legacy that is Virginia Commonwealth University. You all have added to the culture and the quality of life that will live on through our campus. Thank you for making the campus community a positive place to learn and a positive place to grow. When hearing stories of many outstanding graduates, you will notice a pattern of acknowledging those who contributed to their success. Tonight, we also would love to recognize and thank the family, friends, peers, community members, community supporters, and anyone that has contributed to the success of our graduates. If you fall in that category, please stand and accept your thank yous now. As with any major event or activity, there are so many people who go unrecognized for their hard work to ensure that this program is successful. I'd like to thank Provost Soteropoulos for joining us tonight, Ms. Rhonda Williams, Dr. Julian Kevon Glover, and Dr. Courtney Wolfgang for those enlightened words that have inspired so many people out there. We would also like to thank Ms. Brandy Daniels and Ms. Erin White for being tonight's MC. I would also like to give a special thanks to the members of the Lavender Committee for working with me on this ceremony, the ceremony volunteers for making tonight's event happen, and a special thank to my colleagues in OMSA for their support, for always being a helping hand, even when I don't know that I need it. Please join me in expressing my appreciation for their time and effort. Lastly, thank you all for attending the ceremony this evening. It has been a wonderful celebration of the accomplishments of our graduates. Please join us after for the continued celebration and the ceremony in the lobby as the graduates procession out. We do have some refreshments and some cupcakes and some live music from our DJ over here, DJ Guetta. Thank you. So graduates and donors, if you guys can please stand as we recess out. And you can follow Dr. Kadiva on the way out. Congratulations, guys.